All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning, wherever you are on the planet. Welcome. Come on in. Get suited up, get strapped in. We've got another hot one for you today. This is Anthony Carter with Burn the Manual Productions, and this is the Founders Chat. You know what to
Yes.
do, Miss. So take it away, Miss. So what do you?
Yeah. So my name's OnJonet. uh,
Wait a minute. I gave you that nice build up. All right, we'll go with that. All right.
well, no, because you forgot to do like this is Anthony, and I'd be like, I'm OnJonet. So I thought I'd just throw that in there.
Oh, all right. Well, folks, we are still working on. As you know, this is raw and unkept and unedited. So whatever comes up comes out.
hmm
So we don't do any polishing. So you're getting the real deal here. So
I
sometimes it
love that
happens.
part though. I love that it's so raw. I feel like when I
Yeah.
listen back on these, I can kind of, it's so just interesting to hear your thoughts from a particular day and period in time. I feel like stuff like this would be interesting for like your kids or your kids' kids to listen back
Wow.
to.
Okay.
Imagine someone listening to this like 150 years later. We're just talking about
Whoa.
like
Okay.
random stuff and they just get to hear our thoughts on stuff. Like what if we blow up and become these like huge celebrities and they dig out these files from burnthemanualproductions.com 100 years later and they're like,
Right.
listen to their thought process in 2022. That's
Wow.
crazy, and the effect that's so cool.
Yeah, especially if we're talking about things that haven't happened that we want to see happen. And then, like you
Yeah.
said, 150 years later, somebody finds, some dusty tapes or some dusty Zoom files, like, hey, what's this? And they start playing it, and they're like, whoa. But I agree. I agree. I'm all about, like I say, leaving something for the kiddies and the little nippers to punch right in and see what it means to think and behave differently. What would you say?
Like a great grandparent, like
Oh,
all
yeah.
and a lot of those things, especially the old recordings, are just like what they're VHSs. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Oh,
It just comes so hard,
yeah. Well,
easy now. Future people just hear your voice, and that's so fascinating.
yes, it is. Let's get it. Let's jump right in. Do a quick check-in. What's going on with you? How are you doing these days?
I've been chilling. I've been
Oh,
chilling. I'm ready for a I'm ready
you
for
say
a
that
new
every time.
season.
Okay.
I do. I don't feel like there's anything crazy exciting happening yet, but I can feel it happening, right? I can feel the change. The season's changing. I'm ready to hop in a new wave of motivation. So
Oh,
I'm kind of
wow. Okay.
prepping for chaos, but good chaos.
Prepping for good chaos. Uh,
hmm
that sounds like a great book title or movie title. Don't anybody feel that. Prepping for good chaos.
Mm.
We like good chaos. You know, it's a
Exactly.
contained chaos. We know there's an end date. We don't want chaos just to have
hmm
chaos. But okay, I am doing starting a new job. I
Yeah.
been doing some job hunting and still waiting for Fidelity to come around. I think it'd be a great
hmm
company to work at, and still waiting for them to come around. I'm doing some financial coaching these days too. I'm
That's
actually helping
amazing.
people. Yeah, I'm helping people, get them in a credit card, helping them free emergency savings accounts. I'm helping them increase their credit scores because they want a
hmm
couple of people that want to buy houses. So it's a
hmm
whole process. You don't just, you know, go somewhere and hand you a set of keys. So it's really
hmm
fulfilling to help people, make some of their dreams come true in terms of
mm
what they've imagined and what they want to do. And I'm working with, like I said, it's really been a great experience because I haven't had a lot of pushback. Sometimes people will say they want to do X, Y, and Z. You
hmm
say, okay, we can do that. This is what this process entails. This is what you need to do. And then people get real huffy, like, oh, I don't want to do all that. And it's like, well,
mm hmm
I don't want to do all that. So that hasn't been the case so far. So I'm very excited about that. And
Mm.
so yeah, that's where I am. And like I said, trying to build a new life on the East Coast all over again. And
Yeah.
yeah, and things are going well. I'm not a, I moved back to the East Coast. I'm 54 now. When I moved to the first time, I was 27.
Whew.
So yeah,
Wow.
very, very young, very green, very single, very woo, let's do everything, let's do
Mhm.
stand-up comedy, let's tour, let's uh, put together a band, let's write music,
Yeah,
let's get on the stage, let's produce other acts. And now I'm more along the lines of let's get really great at one thing.
I like that. Yeah. One
Let's
day
be
at a
a
time.
kick-ass documentary filmmaker and storyteller. That's plenty to handle. So that's where I am these
Hmm.
days.
I like
Here's a word for you. I'm gonna throw this out
that.
here. The word joy. When I say that, what does that mean to you?
Ooh, when I hear the word joy,
Mhm.
I realize that I don't really use that word until
Oh.
like Christmas time, until the holidays.
Okay.
And and it makes me kind of sad to think that like
Wow.
I
Okay.
mean when I'm trying to think of like when's the last time I felt joy? Joy seems like the most extreme, amazing version of the word happy. I'm not
Mm.
just happy, but joyous. I'm full of joy.
Okay.
I think, wow, when's the last time I've been just so full of joy? I say excited, I say happy, I say proud, but I haven't said joy in a long time. So
Hmm.
it makes me feel all warm and cozy inside. And it's weird that I only kind of refer to that maybe like the holidays. And perhaps to me, joy means just surrounding yourself with people and a community
Hmm.
that makes you feel that makes you feel good and special. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's interesting. I don't hear the word joy from any, but no one I know says it. It's like,
Wow.
do you have people on like weekly, daily basis who know the word joy? When's the last time you heard someone say that out loud?
I'm thinking that's a hmm.
Yeah, kind of
I
sad.
mean, I can point out times that I've no, no, no. I can point out times that I've felt joy, and
Mhm.
thought, okay, and it's a little deeper than being happy,
Yeah.
right? And I think most of the time when I felt joy or been joyful, it's because, and we talked about this before, it's usually because something was really hard or challenging and I
Hmm.
figured it out.
Mm.
And it was, or it seemed something I was something was brought to me or dropped at my feet that seemed absolutely impossible. And either I figured it out or somebody that I deeply care for pointed out one little tweak, one little change I could make, and then everything,
Mm.
the floodgates opened up. And that made me, joyous. And it's usually around, and it's also around things when it's been something I have been like striving for a while, or trying to do for a while. Like I'm looking
Mhm.
at my um, pictures of Greece, right? Like that's one of my screensavers, and I have pictures of Greece in my house and on my camera. And I remember being very joyous when I was there, and it's because I've
Mhm.
been wanting to. It was a 25-year process. I started talking about
Mm.
Greece when I was 25. I kept coming up with reasons and excuses not to go. But when I turned 50, I said, "Screw it! I'm going this year by hell or by hell or by high water.
Mhm.
Come hell or come high water, I'm gonna go." And I didn't
Yeah.
know what that meant. I didn't know how to figure that out. And then I ended up going for 2 glorious weeks in September. So it's been 4 years since I was in Greece. But I
Mm.
remember very joyous because I was surrounded by this really small, intense group of other artists. They were all writers,
Yeah.
and they were from all over the world. Like one was working on a short story, one was doing a radio play, one was doing something. So people were doing that, and the people that ran that program, it was their house in Greece,
Mhm.
and they cooked for us every day, 3 times a day, and it was fresh food every day. And it's just kind of like the closest I think I've ever felt to being in heaven, if heaven exists. But
Yeah.
it was, there were people that were there. And the first part of the day, first half of the day was a silent, almost like a
Wow.
silent meditation. There was no talking until
Mm-hmm.
1:30. So you'd get up in the morning, you'd have, fresh honey, they brought fresh bread by every day. There was this amazing, I don't eat it anymore, but there was amazing, amazing cheese that he had out, laid out for us every
Mm-hmm.
day, amazing Greek yogurt. And you get your yogurt and your coffee and you journal, whatever your routine was, right?
Mm.
I would get it in that journal, and you were sitting right by the sea, so you go take a dip in the sea, you journal, and then you'd see people walking, people would go for walks, but there was absolutely no talking until 1:30 until
Mm.
talking,
Wow.
and to me it was joyous because it was we were there with a purpose, right? And maybe that's what joy is that you have a purpose and it's a purpose that gets fulfilled, or there's an opportunity for you to fulfill a particular purpose. Because I felt
Mm.
very much like, okay, I'm here to do X, Y, and Z, and so is everybody else, right?
Right.
So people were not up all hours of the night making noise when, because some people write at night, you know. But it was
Mm-hmm.
everybody was so respectful of everybody's process and everybody doing the work,
Right.
and it was kind of like, well, God, if this level of respect plus the food is amazing, this is pure
Mm-hmm.
joy.
Oh
Pure
yeah.
joy.
Well, it's interesting because I was looking up like the actual like the definition, right? Textbook
Mhm.
definition of joy. And
Okay.
it's saying it's the emotion of great delight or happiness caused by something exceptionally good or satisfying. I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense." Seems to be again a lot deeper, a lot stronger word than, "Oh yeah, I'm just like happy." It seems like to
Right.
achieve joy is a longer process, maybe, and maybe that's why people don't use it as often or think about it as often. It's something I notice is that everyone's, at least for now, is searching for temporary happiness,
Hmm.
or like a temporary joy, even things that will help them continue the fight, right? They're just like,
Okay.
I'm having a rough week, having a rough year. What are these little things along the way that's going to bring me a little bit of happiness? And then hopefully these things will add up. And at the end of the year, when I've achieved something great or when I feel amazing, I will have achieved joy.
Wow. And it sounds like it's we put it off. That's what it sounds like. And I wonder if people,
Mm.
what are your thoughts on this? I wonder if people are scared to feel joy and why, and if they are, why?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Because I was thinking about it, and perhaps because to feel joy almost feels like an ending, right? Like
Oh,
I have
okay.
accomplished whatever it is to feel this way. This is like the end all be all feeling. This is what
Right.
everyone truly wants to feel. And maybe we feel like if we have finally felt that way, that like maybe we don't have any more purpose. I think
Wow.
humans, man,
Okay.
we love to fight. We love to, uh, believe it or not, we love to work. I think we like
Right.
the idea of having some sort of purpose.
Hmm.
And I think that if we find that one thing that and we hit that point of joy, I don't know if we'll want to stay there. I think we'll want to start all over again, find a new avenue to dive into so we can achieve that same feeling over and over again. I think it's a feeling we want to keep feeling.
Okay. And it sounds like to me you're saying it would be we're afraid of losing that. And it's almost like there's a the price seems really high for being joyful or having joy.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it sounds like to me like you're saying people are saying, well, I don't want to pay that price. And I don't know, like I think a lot of times people will think, well, I don't know if I can survive this if this goes away, right? Or if this changes.
Yeah.
If this is really good. So if I enjoy it too much, it might go away, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Interesting.
Because I always think about that too. It's like trying to achieve a goal. If I have reached this one goal, like where do you go from here? It's like when people talk about the people who have all the money in the world, but
Hmm.
yet they're still not happy. And money can solve a lot of problems, but at the end of the day, when you notice that these people, these celebrities who have all this money and all this downtime, they end up doing the same thing us normal people do, which is they start a business and they work, right?
Right.
Whether they're the top of the ladder, right,
Right.
executive or what, they still for some reason will end up getting up at 9, going to bed at a certain time,
Hmm.
and working on something. Sometimes they start foundations, sometimes they start their own, individual companies based on their passions. But at the end of the day, like, I think we just all love working towards something. And I think that can be a great and bad thing at the same time. Maybe it's not so good that we always feel like we need to be progressing. We can't just find
Hmm.
joy
Okay.
and stay there. We have to be moving at some exponential pace.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of joy in the running and gunning and just being on the treadmill. The joy come,
Hmm.
and I think the joy comes in these small moments.
Right.
These kind of like the in between moments, which you have to be able to recognize that. So my um, challenge to you, my dear, my friend, is to get you some joy. Find some. I want you to find some joyous
Yes.
moments between now and the next time we talk and next time we see each other. Well, definitely when you come out and visit me, you can come out in
Hmm.
the fall and we can, there'll be plenty of joy and hot chocolate. And I
Yes.
found this place last week in Vermont that I'm going to take you to. It's on the side of the road. It's this place that's about as big as the trunk of your car. It's
Mm.
called the Bigfoot. I think it's called Bigfoot Coffee or Bigfoot Cafe.
Mm.
I had the absolute best ginger turmeric latte last week. Oh my God.
Mm. Oh, wow.
Oh, and I've been hearing about these lattes for a while. My stepmom always talks about them. She talks about this
Hmm.
thing called golden milk or golden honey something. And I said, let me try this. And holy moly, I almost had my husband do a U-turn so I can get another one.
Yeah.
I'm like,
uh,
this sucker ain't gonna make it out of Vermont. But anyway, so maybe we'll do that when you get here. All right.
yes.
I'm gonna wrap up because that is our time. Tell the folks how they can find you, how they can reach you.
Yeah, you can find me everywhere at Malay Music or burnthemanualproductions.com.
Okay, thank you. You can find me, Anthony Carter, at burnthemanualproductions.com. You can also, if you are interested or would like to do some reading, you can find me at my website. That's where I house the books, the blog post, and a few of the podcasts from Burn the Manual on there as well. The name of that website, anthony-carter.com, anthony-carter.com. I'm all over Twitter at Anthony L as in love Carter. All right, folks, thank you for joining us. Please, please, please submit comments, suggestions, questions, kvetching,
Mhm.
whatever you got, send it our way. We are here to build a movement and we want to have you contribute and join us in that. So tell us how you can do that. Tell us how you'd like to contribute and what we need to do to have you join us as part of this
Yes.
movement to tell stories and change the planet. All right.
Hmm.
I'm out of here. Talk to you soon, Miss O.